What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another Flow One video. In this video, we're going to be restoring these old KX250 shocks to brand new. If you're new to the channel, I'm building a 1999 Kawasaki KX250 out of my beautiful garage. So if you haven't seen the build series, go check it out. There's a bunch of videos on my channel. In this video, I'm going to be going at these KYB forks. We're going to be getting a full rebuild. Also, as you can see, the fork tubes are pretty scuffed up. So I got a plan on how I'm going to refurbish these. So I think I'm going to do the same thing on the fork tubes as I did with the shock body. As you guys can see, we got this shiny polished finish there. So what I did was I polished it down with the bench grinder and actually coated it with an aluminum specific clear coat. I don't know about you guys, but I think the option here is to do the same thing with the fork tubes. I'm going to polish these down, get rid of all these scuffs in here, and I'll finish them off by coating them. I think it'll really pop on the bike. Just to update those who have been following along with the series, we are still waiting on the cylinder to get back from plating. I know that process kind of takes a while, but once we get that back, we can build the motor and start piecing this bike together. Well, let's get into this. First things first, we can take these things apart, then we'll refinish the fork tubes. Definitely want to make sure to have a rag or a pair of soft jaws to protect these things. Now that we got this thing in the vise, let's take this cap off. Got our trusty old adjustable wrench here. I had to kind of finagle this in here, but there is a jam nut. So now we can take the cap off. We just gotta wrench it off. Well, that didn't work. Let's try this again. There we go. Cap is off. Now we can pull out the spring. Slides right out. So to remove the damper on this thing, you could actually remove this bolt right here and it'll come completely apart, but since we're only replacing the bushings and the seals, we don't actually need to remove this part. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the damper in the stanchion here. Next part here, we're gonna remove this dust seal and then we'll take this thing apart. We also got to remove this clip for the oil seal. Oh, we got it. Now we got the slide hammer action. Just want to try and get it nice in one motion. Man. So I got both fork lowers here. These things are in terrible shape, but I'm glad I took them apart because we do have some rust. The stanchions, however, don't have any major scuffs or scratches, so that's good. Any scuff or scratch in these can cause your fork seals to leak, so I'm glad that we don't have anything obscuring these. So my plan with these fork lowers is to just clean them up, get them nice and fresh. I'm probably gonna start up here on the top of the fork lowers. We got some rust, gotta use a Scotch Brite head and just brush that off. Obviously don't want to put that back together with rust on it, so. As far as the fork lugs go, I might just clean them up and leave them with the cast look, depending on how that looks after they're cleaned up. Might leave it that way, might polish them out with the Scotch Brite wheels. I guess we'll have to see, but first things first, we gotta remove the bushings and the seals. So now is a great time to take a picture of what you're working with. So let's remove these bushings. Looks like you can use a flathead screwdriver right here. Just separate this part. Well boys, it's been a few days here. I got everything apart, but I think now is a good time to start brushing out these fork tubes. As I've already shown you guys, these things are pretty beat up. We got some major scuffing and scratches. So in order to get those out, I'm going to be using PRYME Scotch Brite wheels. So we got both the wheels right here. We got the rough wheel on the left, the finishing wheel on the right. The rough wheel has kind of a harder consistency, really helps get into some of those deep scratches and smooth everything out. And the finishing wheel here just puts a nice smooth brush look to finish off your brush part. So let's get the bench grinder set up and we'll start brushing these things. Well guys, today's April 12th and we got some snow on the ground. We don't have any time to waste, so let's get to it. We got to shine up these fork tubes. I did a first pass on this fork tube here, and I think it looks pretty sick. Definitely takes quite a while to get all the anodizing off, but so far so good. Looks smooth to me. We're gonna hit the other fork tube, and then we'll try and do a final pass on these things, get them nice and smooth, and go from there. By the way, I got tired of sitting, so we had to move the operation over to the truck bed. We got these things all brushed out, and I have to say, they look pretty dang good. I mean, it's really hard to get them absolutely perfect, but I think we're near perfect on these ones, boys. So next steps are going to be cleaning these with acetone, getting them prepped to spray the clear coat. We want to be very careful handling these things. Any little scuff will show on them, so... So it's been a full 24 hours. I took the tape off these things, and they're looking insane. Absolutely glistening in the light. I also went ahead, brushed out the caps, and coated them off camera. I'm glad I took the extra step to do this. Really ties everything together, and these things are looking awesome. I'm also going to put some KYB graphics on the fork tubes themselves. I'm hoping that will at least provide a little bit of protection. Before I go ahead and slap these things back together, I'm going to clean up these fork lugs. I still might polish them, but I want to see how they look after I clean them. Beautiful.
24 hours later.
Oh boy, those are some shiny looking shafts. Those things came out mint, boys. Got our little sandwich baggy oil pan rigged up here if anybody wants a snack. Now she's naked. Using the All Balls racing kit. Just like to put a little bit of fork oil on here. Help everything slide on nice and easy. A little bit of lube doesn't hurt you. First comes the dust seal. We want this lip facing down with the spring. So next up we got the snap ring that just holds the oil seal in place. Now we got the oil seal, which goes on like so. Now we can take the bullet off. We got the backup washer. Now we got the final two bushings. This thinner bushing is going to go on first. Now we got the thicker bushing. Now we can insert. Oh yeah. So next we are going to be driving this oil seal into place. You can try and get some of it in by hand. We're going to be using the Tusk 46/47 millimeter seal driver. Just goes on like this, and you hammer it into place. Do a little slide hammer. Get that one in. You're going to hear the noise change. Once that happens, you know your seal's in place. So it looks like we've exposed the groove for the snap ring. Pretty simple. Just want to get this into place, and we can use a little flathead screwdriver. You're gonna hear it click into place. Just like that, we're in. Now last, we do have the dust seal. These can usually be pressed in by hand, but if needed, you could drive it. Just using the back end of the screwdriver to press it in. Looks like we got it. Nice and pogo-y. She's looking fine though, boys, I have to say. Talk about some shine to her. So at this point, we are ready to add some oil to the forks. Our manual calls for 514 milliliters. We are going to be using Maxima 5-weight fork fluid. So we're actually just going to be filling up the damper hole here with oil. I sucked up some oil here with a syringe just to make it easier, but we took this straight from the bottle, not from what we previously measured out in the 514 milliliters. So first things first, let's get some oil in here. We're going to be taking half of this oil and pouring it in the outer tube. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're pretty close to the top here. So now at this point, we can drop the damper rod into the oil and pull the outer tube all the way to the top. And now we are going to be cupping this with our hand and pushing it down nice and slow. You want to have good suction on this. And now we are going to pump the damper rod in the tube for about 8 to 10 times. So I'm going to pull it all the way up. So we're going to repeat the same process another 8 to 10 times, or 6 to 9 times if that's more your style. Shout out Cam Niemela for that one. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Now we're just going to fill up the remaining oil in the outside of this tube. We're going to repeat the same process another 8 to 10 times, or 6 to 9 times if that's more your style. Shout out Cam Niemela for that one. Next step here, you can actually go ahead and install our spring. So we're going to want to pull this out. You want to make sure your spring is nice and clean. We cleaned this off before, but just slide your spring right on. So you want to make sure that your damper is all the way up, spring's in here. Next we have the distance collar. This just slides right in this top hole here. I'm going to have a little oil come out, but... And then we have the cover here that sits between the spring and the cap. Last but not least, thread on our cap. So I was able to kind of rig a wrench in here. We got a torque on the cap. So the torque spec on the cap is 21 foot-pounds. Well, in order to torque this thing, I had to put it in the triple clamp and then also put it in the vise. This is how we're going to torque it. We got to torque it to 22 foot-pounds. Well, let's see how she works. Oh yeah, we're golden, like butter. We're putting the final pieces together. We are almost ready to start assembling this bike. Suspension, that was my first time. I think it went pretty well. Runs smooth. I did get a little messy, but it's okay because they work great and they look great. That's all that matters. What I can say about doing suspension for the first time is that it's really not that difficult. It's as hard as doing anything else. Up to you whether you want to put the time in to make it look nice, but like anything you do, if you put time and effort into it, it will come out nice. And I put a good amount of time into these things, made sure the fork tubes were looking super shiny before I put them back together, so I'm pretty happy with it, and I think they came out great. I think it's going to look awesome on the bike. Anyways, up next, what I and everyone else has been waiting for is this motor build. We finally got the pieces back, put this motor back together, so you guys stay tuned for the next video when I start assembling this motor. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Before I show you the final product of the suspension, please like, comment, subscribe. Day by day, I'm working on this bike, and hopefully in the next couple months I can get it finished. I still want to do something special when I'm done with this thing, so we'll see how it goes, but I need all the feedback that I can get. So without further ado, let's show you guys the final look of the suspension.